Opening story. Let us begin with a simple but powerful example. Imagine that two students receive exactly the same test score. The event is identical. The number on the paper is the same for both students, but what happens next inside their minds is very different. Student A thinks, "I will never be good at science." That thought sounds final and discouraging. It can quickly lead to emotions such as disappointment, shame, or hopelessness. And when a person feels that way, they may stop trying, avoid studying, or lose confidence. Now look at student B. This student thinks, "I know what I need to improve." The score is still the same, but the thought is different. This thought can lead to motivation, focus, and a sense of direction. Instead of giving up, this student is more likely to learn from the result and take action. So this opening story introduces the main idea of this module. The event itself is not the whole story. The way we think about an event shapes how we feel and what we do next. As we move through the next slides, we will explore this process more clearly and learn how to notice the stories the mind creates. Explain. Now let us make the main idea more direct. Events do not automatically create emotions. Many people assume that something happens, and then a feeling appears immediately because of that event. But in most situations, there is an important step in between: interpretation. Interpretation means the meaning we give to what happened. It is the mind's explanation, story, or judgment about the event. That explanation may be accurate, partly accurate, or completely mistaken. Yet even when it is inaccurate, it can still strongly affect how we feel. This is why two people can go through the same experience and react very differently. One person may see failure, while another sees feedback. One may see rejection, while another sees misunderstanding. The event is the same, but the interpretation changes the emotional result. This idea is important in mindfulness, because mindfulness helps us slow down enough to notice that our thoughts are not always facts. Before we automatically believe every thought, we can learn to observe it. In the next slide, we will organize this process into a simple sequence so you can clearly see how the mind moves from an event to a reaction. Animation. Here is the sequence. Event, then thought, then emotion, then action. This pattern is extremely useful to understand because it shows how our inner experience develops step by step. First, something happens. That is the event. It could be a test score, a text message, a facial expression, or someone calling your name in a certain tone. Second, the mind quickly produces a thought. Often this happens so fast that we do not even notice it. The thought may sound like, "This is bad," "They do not like me," "I messed everything up," or "I can handle this." Third, that thought influences emotion. If the thought is threatening or negative, emotions such as fear, anger, sadness, or embarrassment may arise. If the thought is balanced or hopeful, emotions may be calmer and more manageable. Finally, emotion often influences action. We might avoid, argue, shut down, keep trying, ask for help, or take a healthy next step. This sequence helps us understand something very important. If we become aware of the thought in the middle, we create space. That space gives us a chance to respond more wisely instead of reacting automatically. On the next slide, we will make this idea even more practical with an everyday example that many students can relate to. Examples. Let us take a very common situation. A friend does not reply to your message. That is the event. By itself, it is only a fact. No reply has come yet. But very quickly, the mind may begin creating stories. One possible thought is, "They are angry." If you believe that thought immediately, you may start feeling anxious or upset. Another thought is, "They are busy." That might lead to a much calmer emotional reaction. Another possibility is, "They forgot." That may create mild annoyance, but not necessarily panic. And another explanation is, "Their phone battery died." In that case, the silence has nothing to do with you at all. Notice the key lesson here. The event stayed the same, only the story changed. This is exactly why learning to question your first thought is so valuable. The first thought is not always wrong, but it is not always right either. The mind often fills in missing information very quickly, especially when we feel uncertain. Mindfulness helps us pause and recognize, this is a thought, not confirmed reality. Now that we have looked at examples from other people's experiences, the next slide invites you to apply this idea to your own life. Reflection activity. Now it is time to practice this skill personally. Think of a recent situation that affected you emotionally. Choose something real but manageable, perhaps a misunderstanding, a disappointing result, or a moment when you felt ignored, stressed, or embarrassed. First, ask yourself, what happened? Try to describe only the event itself as clearly and simply as possible. Focus on observable facts. Next, ask, what story did my mind create? This is where you identify the thought or interpretation that appeared. Maybe your mind said, I am not good enough. They do not respect me, or this always happens to me. Then ask the final question, what other explanations are possible? This step is very important. It does not mean forcing yourself to be unrealistically positive. It means becoming mentally flexible. You are training yourself to see that one thought is only one interpretation. This reflection activity helps strengthen awareness. It teaches you to separate what happened from what your mind added to it. That separation is one of the foundations of mindfulness and emotional intelligence. In the final slide, we will reduce this entire lesson into one clear idea to remember. Key takeaway. Here is the main point of the entire module. A thought is one possible explanation, not the only one. This means that when a thought appears in your mind, you do not have to treat it as absolute truth. You can notice it, name it, and examine it. You can ask, is this a fact, or is this my current interpretation? That question alone can change a lot. It can reduce unnecessary stress, prevent misunderstandings, and help you make wiser decisions. It gives you more freedom inside your own mind. So, as you continue practicing mindfulness, remember this. Thoughts are real experiences, but they are not always accurate descriptions of reality. The more you learn to observe them without immediately believing them, the stronger and calmer your mind can become. This idea will continue to support everything we build in later lessons, because understanding the difference between thoughts and facts is a major step toward mastering attention, emotions, and choices.